there. How's everyone going? Welcome to the Centre Bounce. It is a lovely Monday. Might be the last Monday before Supercoach is open. Joe, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Gonna be stuck with shit audio today, apparently. So bear with us as we get through this one. Let us know if you can't hear me. If not, then we might have to try and restart the computer. Always tech problems on my side, unfortunately, but good to see you all regardless. Looking forward to maybe going over some, answering any of your questions that you guys may have, as well as potentially going through and researching together, looking at what each of the clubs have been doing so far in this preseason, who's performing well, who's not, and going forward from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a big advocator of not really going too crazy pre-December in terms of Supercoach selections and then what kind of knowledge affects different things, whatever. But it seems to work out quite well. So we'll go through it. I think it's more a case of, and I've said this before, not so much where players are playing, but also just like who's not injured at this point, Joe.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's a lot of what we look into during the preseason. We're looking into players who are healthy, players who have had an uninterrupted preseason, because this period of time is where you really can build up a lot of your fitness base to really attack the rest of the preseason and fly. So if someone's got an injury interrupted preseason, then unfortunately it does mean that they are a bit behind the eight ball. They're likely to have recurring injuries. They're going to be managed during the preseason a lot more, which obviously then slows down their progression early on in the season. And we don't want slow starts. We want to go bang as fast as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, your cheaper player who kind of comes out of nowhere ends up being a better selection at this point than a few more of the established guys. I'm talking, I forget his name, but hopefully there's a few Melbourne fans who can let me know. The guy they picked up from the VFL as a forward line player, it's someone who I'm definitely looking at. But guys like him, guys like Riley Hardiman and a few of these others, they come out of nowhere if their selected kind of player on field is injured for this part of the preseason. And you always want to be the guy that they're talking about pre-December heading into post-December. Because then it's like, mate, who's this guy? He's been training really well. Let's get some stats and whatnot about him as well. So, yeah. Aiden Johnson is the one. There you go. Thanks, Kai.
How are we doing, Kai? Thanks, guys, so much for joining us. Good to hear, Pete. Let us know at any point in time if I ever am not heard anymore. Yes, more so narrowing down based on the principles full preseason, not exactly 100%. Once you start to have players that are ticking each of your prerequisite boxes, you end up having a lot more easier of a time making a starting team. Now, obviously, the thing is, with content creation and us reviewing each of your teams, like, we can't wait to do that. We will eventually get to a point in time where a lot of teams start to have very similar players, because, again, you want to have the best possible starting team, and having those boxes being ticked naturally means that you're going to end up having similarity. So we are definitely ahead of the curve, and we are sort of being part of the early frontiers and trying to identify which are the players that are ticking those boxes.
Oh, very much so. And I mean, as kind of a standing point, it's almost just like, hey, your player that you selected, there might just be 117K, Joe. You just fill your bench with all these 117Ks and you're like, well, that's it. I don't care about names, maybe 123Ks if you're feeling a bit cheeky. So, yeah, it could just end up like that. And then after round 0 is basically when everyone's teams gets decided.
Yeah, exactly. So just pulling up some, as we're talking, I'm just pulling up some websites there. Travis,
I do want to say something really exciting, because once I I know it's fantasy. I know it's not Supercoach, but definitely once the salary cap pricing and things like that starts to get revealed on fantasy, Supercoach is around the corner. So
Yes.
I have done my, and I'll get roasted for this on Discord, but I did do my obligatory, hey, Al Patton, where's my Supercoach that I do every year. And whenever that happens, it's either the Monday or the Friday coming up when it gets released. So fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed.
I swear, you are so good at complaining about someone or something, and then it immediately changes. So,
hey, I tell you, you just get that little bit of hype, and I mean, I'll take it. I said, Al Patton, where's my Supercoach? And then AFL.com.au released their fantasy pricing. So, centre bounce could be the catalyst for a lot of this stuff.
That's exactly right. Trevor's asking, who's your first pick player in each position?
Oh, it's an interesting one. Am I doing all 4 positions, or are we going to pick one each and then go down the line?
We can go one each if you like.
Oh, sure. Well, I think for defense, for me, if he's still there, I'll pick Harry Sheasel. I think he's going from strength. Yeah, I think he's going from strength to strength, and he's going to have to be a must-have all season long. I don't care about buys. I don't care about anything. This kid's a freak, and now he's going to start kicking goals as well. So, I mean, for a guy who's, only just turned 20 or might not even be 20 yet, come on, man. Like, staple for the rest of our team, barring injury. But for the rest of his career, really.
Yeah, I'll go with Nick Martin.
I like Nick Martin too.
Yeah, we'll go those two probably up there. For the midfield, who would you have as your first selected in the mids?
It's an interesting one, right? Because I feel like similar to last year, this year is almost like a bit of a changing of the guard. I think there's definitely some players that we want to put in and then we don't want to put in. Do people still pick Lachie Neale? I mean, last year, a lot of people didn't pick him on age and, hey, look, he's now a year older. I think for me, probably Caleb Sarong is one that I would really like. I don't believe he's got the early buy. I know he's got the best buy. And I think depending on price, he's the one for me. I really got hurt last year by not selecting him. And I had him in my team for the entire time. Just didn't pick him, and then you end up chasing your tail, right? So yeah, would be very, very happy to have him on my team.
That's a very good question. That's a very good answer. I actually wanted to say Sarong, but
you can say Sarong as well. We don't have to pick different people.
I'm going to give someone different. And I don't want to be as obvious as saying someone like the Bont as well. So another midfielder that I'd be keen to have, maybe Brayshaw, perhaps, if that's the case. But he might be more of an outside type of player, so wouldn't be Brayshaw. Who's going to be flying this year? Who's been underpriced? I don't know. Maybe I feel like if Petrarca's doing really well in the preseason and he's ticking all these boxes, Petrarca could be really underpriced. Him or maybe Clayton Oliver. If I'm seeing Clayton Oliver is nice and trim, obviously he came in with the first to fourth year players, so that's very good. Very keen to see, how he goes. So the Bont's an obvious answer, but I don't want to go obvious. I feel we want obvious with the back line. I want to go someone not obvious in the midfield. Maybe one of the Melbourne boys.
I think for me as well, Zach Merritt might end up being one of those players. I mean, strength to strength, I think Essendon's going to get a little bit stronger potentially. And from what I'm hearing, you guys are going to have a lot of early games on the fixture as well. So it could work out quite well for everybody there.
Yeah, good VC option for sure. Correct.
Yeah. So lock those players in early, man.
Yeah, Zach tends to not start like a house on fire. He tends to sort of work his way into the season. But hey, every year he's been starting to catch on fire earlier and earlier. So wouldn't be a surprise if Zach Merritt comes out really strong. So it's a very fair shout, but I can't go Nick Martin in the back line, Zach Merritt in the midfield, Sam Draper in the ruck, and
who's your forward line player? That's the way to go. ruck line, Joe. I'll let you say ruck line first because I've said the last couple.
All right. First run in the ruck, it's going to be Tristan Cherry for me. I think he is absolutely in my ruck line.
Yep.
Unless I feel like really anti-potting him and thinking, you know what, he had a career best year. Good luck backing it up. And then we sort of go with a Lloyd Meek and big Shrek Darcy combination. Actually, you know what? Sean Darcy is my pick. I'm going to go with Sean Darcy in my ruck line. I can't wait to pick him, and I want him to be a point of difference. So I want no one else to pick Sean Darcy. I want to die on this hill by myself.
You're going to be those guys that I was going to say those guys that are going to pick Sean Darcy. Yeah, you're going to be one of those guys that pick Sean Darcy. I think I have to be the safer option and go Cherry. I didn't start him last year. Got him in halfway through once Max Gorn shit the bed. And yeah, I just think he's really safe. As North Melbourne gets stronger, he just gets better and better. And, probably expect a 110 plus from him for the new season. But if we're going guns and rookies, I can 100% see a world where I pick up a Sean Darcy because he's cheaper. Like Darcy and Meek could end up being the better selections just on price. Yeah. Hold your ghost. No, I've seen some pictures and he looks very, very, very trim. So yeah, I'm not aware of that so far, unfortunately. I think Rowan Marshall's also going to be a very good selection as well. Maybe a little bit more expensive, but his run home was fantastic, and you'd hope that St Kilda gets better. Who else is some other players? Yeah, we'll see with that. Joe, forward line players.
Wait, I want to show this. This. He is running, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful.
And no strapping.
He is running, ladies and gentlemen. So, mate, Sean Darcy has not looked like this ever. Get out of here. Be careful. Beware of Sean Darcy. He's coming for you. He's coming for R1. And I can't wait to pick him, mate. It'll be good fun. Is
that a little bit of a mustache?
He does have a bit of a mustache. He's rocking a dirty mode. Love it.
Done. Forward line, Joe.
Round 2. See, he does. See, compared to normal.
He got pretty trim.
So keen. I'm keen as a bean for Sean Darcy. I reckon he'll be really good. All right. Who is for the forward line? Forward line, it's going to be most likely Horn Francis for me. The midfield minutes increasing, the DPP, another pre-season under his belt. He's still quite young, but he's shown that he's really exciting. Getting more centre bounce attendances, you love to see it. He's one of their premier ball winners and really takes the game on. X factor. I just anticipate we'll just continue going from strength to strength. So probably going to be, I'm going to go with Horn Francis.
I've said it before, but I really do think that the forward line almost becomes a no-brainer this year.
Yeah.
Stack it. Just stack it. Defense, cool. There's some options for cheaper prices, but, Bailey Smith. I'm even thinking about Rory Lobb in the forward line this year. I think there's so many good players. You've got Caleb Daniel as that cheaper price. Yep. Jack McRae, similar as well. A few of these other players. Luke Parker, definitely. I don't know if he's going to score that well in Supercoach this year. I think North Melbourne just, there's a lot of ball going around. One for me is probably Philippou. If he's still forward eligible, I think he was really strong last year. Depending on pricing and whatnot, I can fit him in. But he's got a really good buy round as well. So this year, definitely, I'm trying to avoid as many early round plays as I can because I saw that round 0 was so influential last year. So if we can do that, fantastic. You're onto a winner. So, yeah, we'll see how we go there.
Yo, wait. I gotta swear. I gotta show this as well. Whoa,
there you go. Dirty moustache.
Look at the man, the myth, the man, Melton. Get around him. Look at him. Mate, This is R1 for your first 5 weeks of the season. This is your R1.
and then he's injured.
And then things don't go so well. Look at his first 5. If we go to the fixture, where's the fixture? Matches, fixture. Look at his run to start the year. It's redunculous. Yep. Filter, Tame, Fremantle. Who's up against Geelong? Geelong don't have a ruck. Who's up against Sydney? Grundy is not a ruck. Who's up against the Eagles? They don't have a gun ruck. And then he's up against English. English isn't a ruck. Yeah, he's got Toby. Then he's got Gawn. Then he's got Rob. Then he's got Marshall. But that's fine. The first 5, it's the first start of the season. That's what counts the most. And then we offload him when afterwards.
Well, I mean, like he should be a bit more expensive as well, which is a good upside, and it's one of those players that a lot of people won't have, right? I mean, Cherry definitely won't have an early buy, but a lot of the other selections do. So, yeah, could work out very, very well for you, Joe. It go quite well if he's not injured.
Darcy scored a 66 against Grundy in a win. Darcy wasn't healthy. He wasn't fit last year. He wasn't looking like this last year. This is a different year, Kai. It's a different year. You will be right. And we don't think. You
can't backtrack already, Joe.
What?
No backtracking already.
What do you mean? I'm doubling down. I'm justifying him. I'm batting for this man. He's looking unreal.
Sean Darcy, way to go. Maybe we'll do up some nice posts and be like Joe's picks for the Sean Darcy. Could work out very, very well. I mean, we said that, right? It's how well players are playing in the preseason and who's not injured versus who's in what positions. Because up until January, as Luke Parker said today, up until January, it doesn't really matter too much. It's when you start playing those intra-club games and whatnot, where it really starts to matter.
Yeah, talking about North Melbourne, this is an article that came out in the Herald Sun just today, really, this evening, talking about some track watches. Top North Melbourne draftee Finn O'Sullivan maybe set to start his career on the outside, so that's not too bad. But it was a 15-15. Caleb Daniel impressing in his position at half-back. So Caleb Daniel, you're going to lock him into your side, ladies and gentlemen. Seems to be one of the surest things, I think, to come out of the preseason this year.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, you've got these players that obviously leave for more chances and to play their original position, right? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's definitely 1 or 2 that we saw from last year that did the same thing as well. So, yeah, it was good. It was cheap in Supercoach, and I think he'll play every game down in halfback. So, yeah, it looks very, very good.
Luke Parker rotated between inside midfield and half forward as expected, appearing to swap with Jai Simpkin. Now, people were happy to trade in Jai Simpkin as a 24th primo last year.
Hey, it worked for me. I mean, I ended up top 500, so it worked very, very well for myself. I think North Melbourne is a tricky one. They're going to have a lot of people who rotate through the midfield this year. There's going to be a lot of forwards. Heck, even the likes of LDU are going to do the same thing. It might not all happen in the same rotation, but Sheasel will spend some time forward. The other guys will as well, just to help come on and negate a lot of the bench time and save that for a lot of players as well. So, yeah, it's just what's going to happen. Simpkin kicked a few goals last year. Luke Parker definitely did this in the grand final and a few other times as well. So, you wouldn't be surprised if a McKercher plays backline and then midfield, for example. So, yeah, not that Caleb Daniel's going to be a forward defender, but yeah.
Well, you can't forget that this is a game it's an intra club, so you need to field 2 teams from the same team. So a lot of these players aren't necessarily going to be playing in the positions that they played in this game, because you need to play them. You're not going to have 2 teams worth of midfielders in your best 23 when you play in the regular season. So Shees will play it solely as an inside mid. You know, he will definitely get the DPP, the Shees, no doubt about it. I think the Shees is a very safe pick for everybody. O'Sullivan seems to be playing on the wing. Was matched up against Dylan Stevens on the wing for the entirety of the session. So, do you want to spend a lot of money for Finn O'Sullivan, high draft pick, to be playing on a wing? Hey, we did that with from the Melbourne Demons last year, Windsor. He was playing the wing position. He was 180 odd K, and I think he was still worthy of a selection in your team. So O'Sullivan seems to, and he's an accumulator. So that could be very well. And McKercher was playing in the midfield. Will he continue to play in the midfield during the season proper? That's another question. I think he's still a bit too small to play in the midfield, like thin size-wise. I wouldn't be surprised if he's coming off half-back with him and Caleb Daniel as the two coming off half-back. So McKercher's a possible option as well. He won't be cheap, though. He'll be around, 400K?
Yeah, I'm going to start him, depending on positioning and price and whatnot. McKercher's a gun. Going back to Finn O'Sullivan, I think out of the top 10 this year in Supercoach was really, really, really tight. Sorry, the top 10 in the draft was really, really, really tight, and there's a lot of very good players. It's going to come down to, for me, is this player able to score what a lower priced premium would score? Because they're going to be taking up a midfield spot during the season, so at least the start of the season until they impress in price. So O'Sullivan might be the one that misses out. I don't know if a Draper, for example, will probably get a lot more in terms of Supercoach scoring for him. Jagger Smith getting 30-odd touches, potentially. I think there's going to be a few of those type of players in my starting team. And O'Sullivan, he's going to be a fantastic selection in Supercoach. But, it might be the one that misses out for me just because of that. You've got Baby Ashcroft. Let's be realistic, right? You probably play maximum of 4 of them on field. Maximum. Hell or high water type thing. You probably take Ashcroft as one, Draper as another one. Who are your other two? Langford, as Kai's saying here. Yeah, so Finn O'Sullivan's fantastic, good player, whatnot, but I don't know if he's going to be that good of a Supercoach selection off the bat, and you want the type of players. So, yeah.
Correct. Let's see. Who else impressed? Darcy Tucker. No one's going to pick him. Georgie Wardlaw. Tom Powell, no. Griffin Logue, no. Let's see.
I think it's North Melbourne. No one's going to really pick the midfielders, really. So you're probably picking a Sheasel, a McKercher, Caleb Daniel, and then potentially a rookie if you want.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Keep going down to the Ds. Let's see what happened at the Ds. Petrarca continues path back to footy, okay?
Yep.
Appears to be on track. Petrarca appears to be on track. That's pretty good. Harvey skipping a beat. Good to see. We love to see it. With a vocal presence. Cool, no worries. Fumbling the class above the rest. Hardly fumbling or missing a kick. Oh, we love to hear that. We love to hear that. Was one of the last
suck in a few people, man. He's gonna suck in a few people. I tell you what, he looks like I know Petrarca's just come back from a huge major injury, but he has to be one of the fittest AFL players I've ever seen in my life. Just like how ripped and he does very well. That
players who impressed. Harvey Langford looks ready to make the level. Right position with space and execution to deliver inside 50. All right, so he looks like he's playing some mid-time, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did that at juniors, right? And that's why they picked him up. I think he played wing and then some inside mid, so seems to be obviously trying to do that again now.
In his second year of AFL footy, Caleb Windsor could be set for a move to the half-back line, starting there during the foreground drill with his speed and evasiveness on full display. They needed that speed coming off half-back because when they moved Rivers into the midfield, they have lost a bit of spark from half-back. So Windsor could be a really interesting option coming off half-back.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I'm not sure if I'll necessarily pick him just due to price and whatnot, but him and Jinbi and a couple of others, mate, if they're 300k and they're killing it, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, good luck trying to play guns and rookies if that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? I'm going guns and rookies, so yeah, you just got to kind of deal with it a bit.
For sure. There you go. Oh, legend. Caleb Windsor playing off halfback this year. I know you're excited about that. For sure, as you should be. Unbranded with his on-brand hello. Fantasy Open today last year.
Yep.
G'day, Mike. How's it going? Not much news over here so far, except the words Elijah Hewitt is trading the house down. He's going to be cheap as well. Interesting.
Yeah. I think there's definitely going to be a few of these players, and depending on what type of team you're going to run next year is really going to determine a lot. Are we going to get more of a salary increase? Because I think just looking at what's happened with fantasy, they've had a bit of a cap increase as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Supercoach in terms of that kind of stuff. Hopefully they keep it at the 10 million. I think it's one of the things that makes the game really strong. But we'll see, right? If you're going to go more of an overall list like we saw last year, good. Go for these type of players. But there's a lot of very, very good rookies this year. And there's still a lot of players who maybe didn't get the best start last year who are going to be really cheap. I mean, I'm looking at Rodney here. Hopefully Rodney jumps on. Let me know, Rodney. But he mentioned was it Finn O'Sullivan? Who was the player O'Sullivan that Geelong picked up in the back line? Apparently he's training really well. There's quite a few of those other type of players that, are going to be selectable and are going to be 117k and doing quite well. And that's something that we've seen just in general in Supercoach. Yeah, Connor O'Sullivan, as John O'Carroll's saying here. So, yeah, there's a lot of these type of players, and I think don't necessarily be sucked into picking the most expensive. Because as we spoke about a lot last episode, it's going to be a bit of a trap if you've got a 300k player and then you offload them at 400k, because you're spending picks to just do those kind of things. Like 450k players that are going to make 50k, cool, but then you're still spending trades to be able to get rid of them. So yeah, better to go the cheap and get that 200k price increase than go 300k and get 50.
Yeah, exactly. Good day, B. James. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for coming on. John O'Carroll, how are you? John, good to see you, my friend. I reckon Walsh, says Peter. I reckon Walsh is due for a big year.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they saying they're playing the early bye though. So it makes it a little bit harder for us to pick Carlton players to start with.
It's also going to be interesting to see how the midfield mix works over there for Carlton. Like seriously, it's really interesting. Like they've got a lot of midfielders. They've added another midfielder in the draft now. One of the best accumulators.
And Chera's coming back too.
Chera's back. Doherty's back. Does Doherty go to half back now potentially? I don't know. There's a bit of question marks over the Carlton midfield. Plus, it's hard to trust Sammy Walsh because of his recurring back injuries. Like even at this point last year, I think he was okay, but then aggravated it in training. And backs are really difficult to overcome. And he's been struggling with that back for a while. You could tell that he wasn't right. So, he could be value compared to what we know he can dish out. But will he dish it out this year is the question.
Yeah, and I think Carlton as well, they just need to change something. They've got so many good players in that team, and they just can't get to the grand final. So I don't know what they've got to do, but something's really got to change for them. And we'll see what happens there. Good old Kai. Fact tech extraordinaire. Carlton don't have an early bye. Well, potentially Sam Walsh is a good pick then. We'll kind of see preseason form and go from there, guys.
Yeah, I haven't really memorized the schedule yet. Come on, Joe, we're not picking Marshall. I'm not picking Rover, all right?
Maybe Marshall and Shrek. Just go round 13 by players and you're laughing.
Well, those two have good buys from memory, so maybe it could be the play. But Marshall's not. I don't know. I can't go with Marshall. There's no way I can go with Marshall again. The second I pick him, we'll do a last minute managed, or he'll just do something silly. I don't know. I can't go with Marshall. Never. He's on my never again. I think
He
at the
just
moment.
seems to perform and then get injured, unfortunately, or fall off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. Proven score. Yes, this is in relation to Caleb Daniel. Yep, for sure. Ben, g'day, Ben. As a Hawks fan, what we're thinking about Sicily with Barras coming in? I got to say, I was really excited about Sicily potentially being an option for us in the back line with Sicily, with Barras coming in as well as Battle. I'm thinking, oh, great, he can play the loose. But we saw with Sam Mitchell, he was very happy sending him forward to play in the forward line. Now, having said that, Weddle has been apparently in the ruck, training in the ruck line. Shout out to Nerds for Life Supercoach. I am following them. Really great. Love the socks. I was actually wearing them the other day. Saw a photo of this. Hawthorn has been testing Josh Weddle in the ruck against Lloyd Meek. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but if Lloyd Meek, if Weddle is going to be not in the back line, he's going to be playing backup ruck, then hey, Sicily could be really interesting.
Yeah, I think for me, Sicily's one of those players that if he's cheap, I'll end up picking him. But I'll go back to Callum Mills as a reference. Really does seem to be a Mr. Fix-It type player. And it's something that you don't want in Supercoach. You want defined roles a little bit. You don't know where Sicily's going to play, and I probably won't start the risk. For me, like there's going to be other players I can pick and not have to have a headache about every week.
Yeah.
Going on the Josh Weddle, I don't mind it. I think Weddle's a fantastic player, and if it means that they don't have to play a second ruckman, because I think Hawthorn's like forward line and whatnot looks really good, that they can avoid having to try and play like a Ned Reeves all the time, who, has been struggling a little bit. Weddle kind of pinch hitting if Meek means that, it could be something similar to a Tristan Cherry, where the guy's playing close to 100% game time, if this is how fit he's going to be, and then a not ruckman now starts to pinch hit. So, yeah, could work out very, very well for Meek owners.
Exactly. So look, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But with Sicily, sorry, Ben, with Sicily, his role is going to be subject to change. And having spoken to asked other Hawthorn supporters, their view is that Sicily is going to be Mr. Fix-It. He will do what the team requires, whether it's play forward, play on the back line. And when he played forward, he was really good, and he was really close to kicking the match winner against Port Adelaide. He hit the post. So, it was a bit of a masterstroke. Even when he was injured, couldn't lift his shoulders, set forward, and did some Superman things. So I think Sicily has shown that he's so good as a forward as well that they can't remove that as an option. And as a result, we don't want to be picking a Sicily who's playing in the forward line for majority of the game. Now that they've loaded up on defenders, really quality defenders as well, he's going to have to maybe require an injury or two to be required to go back.
Yeah, I think so as well. And that's why they brought in these players. So it gives Sicily the ability to do that and then them not suffer, which means that potentially there's a little bit of scoring loss there. Unless he's going to be coming in and kicking 1 to 2 goals a game. So that could happen as well.
And win the Coleman, mate. Win the Coleman.
Sicily winning the Coleman, Joe. I've seen crazier predictions. Tell you what.
Parker's ownership will literally depend on if he gets a discount. I know he isn't in fantasy, but could be heavily discounted in Supercoach.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the uneducated people, most definitely. But I think in just Supercoach in general, there's so many good players. I mean, if Luke Parker's 300K, cool. Okay. But there's so many good players in this forward line. It's not like how it was last year where there just wasn't. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
This is a photo of what? Is this a photo of McRae playing in the midfield? Is that what this is supposed to show?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the ruckman hitting the ball off to McRae, and it's something that the dogs. Yeah, I mean he's going for a tap, so you'd assume
who's this ruckman? Who is this person?
The number 2 behind Marshall.
It's not Rowan Marshmallow.
Well, there you go. But it's something that the dogs kind of stopped doing. So no, it's not Tom Campbell plays for Melbourne, mate. Tom Campbell now plays for Melbourne.
I'm more so of saying that it's not Rowan Marshmallow.
Yes.
So
yeah,
Alex Dodson. Thank you, Jono. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, does Dodson play, Jono?
No, I don't think so.
All right, very well. If you say so.
There's talk of Ben King apparently playing in the back line. So we'll see what happens there. A few people saying Ben King should go in the back line. So yeah, we'll see.
Shout out to these boys. Dr. Supercode.
We're coming, boys and girls. Something that we haven't spoken about. We're thinking of maybe doing a Spotify this year. So let us know what you think. If that's a medium that you guys think, hey, we need. I know that, I personally have YouTube Premium, so I don't really use the Spotify. But you guys that do, what were you guys thinking about a Spotify for us this year? Would you watch? Would you subscribe? Let us know.
Probably not.
Probably. Well, there you go, Joe.
Probably not. No, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. You got to lock in Sardal Holiday. Absolutely. Yeah. Lock it in. Throw away the keys, unless he's injured, of course. Otherwise, he's probably my first pick player. He's probably my first pick player.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if he's performing well, it's these type of players as well that you can just lock in and almost create a structure around Joe in your team. Caleb Daniel in the forward line being another one as well is just these kind of players. So yeah, throw away the key, man. There's a few of them.
Ooh, apparently Ollie Hollins half back row.
Yeah,
really.
We'll see. There's a few of these players, man. I mean, he could end up rotating with the Doherty. So I know that he was quite strong on the wing. So we'll see what happens. But then it comes down to what you were saying before about when they play 15 on 15 or 20 on 20 games, that they need someone from each team playing in each position, right? So cool. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, there you go. And Doherty is playing in the midfield. Doherty has been training with the mids. So again, just things that we want to read, like where are people training? Now, of course, if Doherty's training with the mids, doesn't mean that he's forgotten how to play half back. So, but still, it's just sort of giving us an insight into what Carlton, I think, are planning on doing, what their best mix is, and Doherty could be playing in the midfield. So what does that mean? More chefs in the kitchen, more support for Cripps. Not sustainable for them to keep relying on a Brownlow medalist to carry them and break records. Yep. Chera moved well, so Chera's back as well, so he's a midfielder. Declining on light duties. Sam Walsh started in the rehab group, but joined the main group later on in the session. And that's why I'm never touching Sam Walsh, man. This guy is always so close to the rehab group, and then when he gets on the field, he will just start butchering it. So, nah. For me, I'm good. You guys can start Sam Walsh if you want, not me.
Yeah, it's there's going to be a few selections like that, like during the preseason and whatnot. And I think it's going to be a case of, well, who do you know are going to be the definite picks? If I'm only going to pick 4 midfielders plus an Ashcroft this year, or potentially 2 Ashcrofts in the midfield this year, I'm not going to, Sam Walsh is not going to be one of them. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen for me. So, yeah, cool, good player, whatever. Unless he comes out and scores 200s a couple of times in the preseason. But Yeah, I think more happy with a Sarong and a few of these other players, especially with Carlton. I mean, it's a weird one, Joe.
I just think his ball use holds him back from being among the uber premiums.
Yep.
Is my problem. Him and he'll play the territory game, which for Carlton is good. Like get the ball, grub it along the ground, get the ball moving at all costs. But unfortunately, that's not a high disposal efficiency game, and it counts as clangers and it counts as turnovers or ineffective disposals at the very least. So unfortunately, Sam Walsh isn't getting full bang for his buck. And a lot of times he'll salvage a score by kicking a goal late in the game.
Oh, it was depressing last year. It was so hard to watch, man.
Yeah.
It was so hard to watch.
Yep, I hear you. What are your thoughts around Track, mate? Track is looking really good, according to a report here, Jono. Where is he? Let me just scroll back up again. Petrarca appears to be on track this preseason. Hardly skipping a beat. He's come back looking fit and firing. Vocal presence. Looked a class above the rest. Hardly fumbling or missing a kick. And he was one of the last to leave the park, so staying behind. So that's great. So it means that he's practicing set shot kicking. So, that this is excellent. And that's what we saw from Petrarca last year. He's hitting the scoreboard more, resting forward. And he was an absolute handful. Could be value for his price. And one that we're certainly looking at. And he's been improving year after year with his output. So he's definitely one that I'm seriously considering.
Yeah. For me, it's more just a wait and see. Could definitely do that. If it's a cheaper price, 100%. I think Petrarca at $550K. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but will end up being like a selectable choice for us there. So yeah, we'll see what happens really.
I'm just trying to see if I can. Geez, it's been a long time since I've last opened up DFS. My God.
There you go, Joe.
So if I just pull this here, let's have a look at his scoring in recent times. If it will scroll. Are you going to scroll? There we go. We're scrolling. He's 117, 114, class 110, 118. Obviously, last year, injury interrupted. Only 13 games. Still, over 100, which is not too bad. He's capable of going around that 115 mark, depending on what his price is going to be. Could be worthwhile. Could be very worthwhile. And what's his fixture like to start off the season? Fremantle. Let's change that to Melbourne. Who's he got? Got the Giants. Tough matchup. North. I don't think they're going to be easy beats. The Suns.
Tough matchup there.
Geelong. I think Geelong will torch. Essendon will torch. Freo will be tougher. Richmond will torch. West Coast will torch. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. He's either going to torch or going to have a tough matchup. So it'll be interesting to see Track, but we know what the Petrarca's like. If he continues to maintain this great form and great training over the preseason, you can back him in just to perform really well. I mean, how'd he go against Fremantle? He's only scored an 85. So that was a tough matchup. How'd he go against Geelong? Only a 94. How'd he go against... didn't play against the Suns. Got injured. Hawthorn, he's got a 146. For how many goals? Only the one goal. Yeah, it's interesting. We're going to definitely keep a try.
I think for me, it all comes down to starting price. If I can get a Petrarca and he ends up averaging like a 110, cool. And then I can get him at like $550K. It evens out enough for me to be able to select him. But if I go into it expecting like a 115, I think I'm going to be really disappointed and might end up taking up a valuable spot compared to some other players. So, yeah, Melbourne's going to be an interesting one. Windsor moving to another position. Rivers potentially coming through. Petrarca seems to have played a little bit of a Luke Parker type role where they need a lot of power in the forward line. Petrarca's the one that goes forward. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, and I'm not sure if that's going to affect his ability to score in Supercoach. It works for Melbourne. I mean, you might get an extra goal out of him every game, but if he doesn't touch the ball for half the game, well, then that doesn't work for us, right? So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
There was one game where he went absolutely berserk.
Oh, it hurts when you don't own him. It really hurts.
Against Carlton. He single-handedly beat Carlton. He was just going berserk. You think the 5 goals won in that game for a 134 was really impressive. You love to watch him. You really do. And he's normally a pretty reliable availability. I mean, he had 3 years where he basically didn't miss a game in a row before, obviously, having his season prematurely ended. So he's pretty reliable as well. And you love to, I think it's one of those big green ticks that you can give a player where you can trust them to play week in, week out for the most part. It does save you trades. You know, not all bodies are the same. Obviously, you can have freak accidents where someone is going to be broken in a collision. But it definitely helps when you're selecting players in your team that aren't, you know their hammies aren't made of tissue paper, for example, or their calves. Like, Darcy Parish would be so much better of a selection if he wasn't always getting soft tissue injuries, because we know that Darcy Parish has a wonderful ceiling. He plays a great inside midfield role, but you just don't know when his calf is going to go twang. And same thing with Fisher. You were holding on with bated breath, not sure when Fisher was going to do an injury last year. So having someone that you can trust and rely, especially as a premium, really important. So keen to see how Petrarca tracks.
I think that Petrarca as well, something to jump on is you don't know how much of a hold back the Melbourne team's actually been told with Petrarca as well, coming off the big injuries. Like, he's dominating and whatnot, but if they've said, hey, no contact with Petrarca, let's let him get through December without any major injuries, then cool. But if they've said go guns ho and he's looking this good, I think that's a bit of a difference as well.
Well, he did travel overseas, which is why he wasn't in the best and fairest. I forgot which country he went to. Legend could probably tell me. I'm not sure if it was the Magic Dubai. Abu Dhabi seems to be a great place for players who have been historically very injury prone to go and get fixed up. And we saw that with Elliot Yeo last year. He went bananas. But you're always better off to start injuries players. You can capitalize any decent scores they get before they get injured. Naturally, if the price is good, is good, they're in a wonderful role, and that lowers the downside. But if you're picking someone who's over 600K and they're an injury risk player, can be a bit daunting. Having said that, I avoided Max Gawn last year and I paid the biggest price of them all. So maybe it is better. Always, if you're going to have an injury-prone player in your team, you're going to start them. You don't trade them in. If you've decided you're going to fade the injury-prone player, then you've got to commit to fading them. You don't trade them in, because when they do get injured, you've burnt a trade bringing them in, and then you're going to burn a trade to trade them out again. So if you want to go risky, you start the risk. You don't trade it in. That's correct.
Yeah, 100%.
It went to Austria, I believe. Okay, interesting. Austria. Yeah, not too many. I haven't heard of too many players going to Austria. So there you go. It's not too bad. All right, what else have we got for Nerds for Life? Melbourne, Harrison Petty's been training with the defenders so far this season. Yeah, no one's going to be picking Petty. Dean Cox has confirmed position changes are coming, with Tom McCartan being trialled. Tom who? McCartan? Who is this? Being trialled forward. I wonder if this means Callum Mills will return to his primary mid-role. Yo, can you imagine Callum Mills playing in the midfield?
Well, yeah, we'll see. I think one of the beautiful things about a new coach coming in is that new coaches can change whatever they want to change, and there's no real precedent of, well, you've played him in this position, you have to play him in there again. Mills in the midfield, fantastic, but I think it comes down to as well, body-wise, pricing in Supercoach, and who else takes a bit of spot as well. I think if they don't heavily play the likes of Sheldrick next year, I think he's going to end up leaving. So they need to blood a few more players through that position. If they just play their old guard, potentially. I do think there's a role for someone to come in and steal a Luke Parker type position, and maybe Mills is that kind of guy. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, Luke Parker was essentially depth for the Swans anyway, so it wasn't like he was particularly playing.
He played quite a bit though.
Well, he definitely shone in the grand final. But then again, there always seems to be one player who shows up for the Swans in the grand final. It's sponsored by Red Bull, and Red Bull's main headquarter is in Australia. Okay, there you go. Fair enough. Jack McRae hasn't missed a beat. Our new mid.
I don't expect him to. Yeah. So, he's a very, very good player. He's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah, well, if St Kilda are calling him the mid, and he's having a strong pre-season, you love to see it. Absolutely. And in the forward line's going to be piss easy at this rate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And you just start him. You just say, hey, I can avoid a lot of the buy round carnage, especially the early buys, and play the players that I want to pick. Done. Really? Jack McRae ends up being a bit cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Better.
Focus on defense. We'll change a fair bit. The game plan with the new coach will always have a flavor on the way you want to play.
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't play more defensive. Well, if he wants to be defensive, having defensive-minded midfielders like Callum Mills makes sense. Because too much of the defending for Sydney was left to Rowbottom. Like, if Rowbottom wasn't playing, Chad Warner, Heaney, Goulden, no one defended. It all came down to Rowbottom. So I think they really miss Mills as well. So having Mills and Rowbottom just, I think, gives them more balance, and Callum Mills can play that Tom Stewart, start in the midfield and then flow back into defense and help out as an extra defender. So I think that makes sense from a Sydney Swans perspective. Will be interesting to see. I can see Callum Mills playing that midfield role now. If this is the new way that the Swans want to play and be more defensive. They could have picked a more flattering photo of the man, but I do anticipate we're going to see more Callum Mills midfield time, which will be really exciting.
I think Sydney's, they're a really good team, but as Cox is kind of saying, they need to be able to stop the flow and more guys that can tackle and whatnot. So, 100%. It's all about balance versus just like dominant. So Mills potentially finally comes back. He's at least coming to preseason in ripping shape, which is also a thing. So,
we saw that photo. Gee,
he's a lot fitter than Harley Reid at the moment, I'll tell you what.
Those are muscles, bro. Those are muscles right there. Hey, g'day, Michael. How's it going?
What's up, Michael?
You, friend. Sad I missed the first show, but better late than never, mate. You ain't late at all. We are so early. The rooster hasn't started to freaking. Meanwhile, Legend, you are very late, my friend. They say better late than never. He went to Austria. Mate, you've just told us this 6 minutes after John O'Carroll. Legend, you got to get on your game, mate. 6 minutes is a long, long time. Jono has done 2 laps around you, mate. Come on. You got to be faster than that. So that will be really cool to see. Let's have a look at what's happening at Adelaide. Supercoach Giants. Isaac Cumming could be a very tempting starting option.
Yep.
All right. Interesting. Started the preseason on fire. Finishing top 3 in the 2K time trial. Okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter as well talking a little bit about Draper being basically a must-have selection, and then a few of these other things as well. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh, Sid Draper was the top South Australian talent. So,
yeah. Well, he's a top 5 pick. Like, he's a very good player.
How much been saying your rookie? Who's this? This is talking about Liam Fawcett. Okay, Liam Fawcett. Tall forward? No good. No thanks.
Yeah, not in our forward line this year.
I think so. He's an inside midfielder. That's where I'm seeing him playing. Paddy Dangerfield about Bailey Smith. Oh,
Yep.
Oh, Lord have mercy. We're going to have Bailey Smith playing in the guts. Oh, mate. Lock it in, Eddie.
You got to pick him, Joe. If realistically, right? Every year I say this. Every year. Apparently, yeah, he went to Austria, Joe. Every single year I say this. If you can pick mids in any other position, do it.
Yeah.
That's number one. Next part goes to defenders. If you can pick accumulating defenders in any other position, do it. If you can then pick ruckman in any other position, do it. Never pick forwards who are forwards. They never score well. You can end up with Bailey Smith, Jack McRae, Horn Francis as like your 3 starting ones, plus Caleb Daniel. That's 4. 4 of our forward lines already selected. Who cares about price? It doesn't matter because your midfield. Your midfielders, your midfield rookies are going to score the best. Like, they're going to score close to premium status. It always happens. Yeah. And they just make up a spot on field. And you'd rather have a midfield rookie than a forward rookie. So, yeah. Who else are we picking, Joe? Those 4. Who's our other 2? Before Supercoach
Smith, Isaac Rankin.
Yep, Rankin. Cool. So we need one more. Who's our 5th player? Who's our 6th player? Our forward line.
Tom Lynch.
Nah, no chance. I'm not picking Tom Lynch. No chance. I was half considering Rory Lobb, but yeah. Well, we'll see what happens there. Is there a number 6? We'll see what happens. But funny. Yeah, you can go off and just pick Dylan Moore.
There's Horn Francis, Jack McRae, Mateus Philippou, Smith, Caleb Daniel, and
Rankin.
There's your 6.
Yep, there's your 6.
Premium forward line.
Lock it in. Maybe a Dylan Moore, as Jono's saying here, or Philippou. Well, we'll see what happens with those type of players. But yeah, you can just lock them in. Straight up. Just lock them in. Done.
Surely, darling, break out your nose at North.
Yeah, we'll see. As long as he kicks a few more goals, it's fine. We're not picking him because of Supercoach.
Yeah, so there you go. It's going to be so. I don't know. I wonder what the pricing will be, but it will probably be Horn Francis is probably the most expensive. You would guess.
Yep.
McRae, maybe. Rankin,
he'll be a bit cheap.
Maybe Philippou, Smith, Caleb Daniel, and far out. So it was Horn Francis, McRae, Philippou, Smith, Caleb Daniel, and Rankin. There's your 6.
Yep, done. Lock it in, boys and girls. You'll most likely be able to get all of them for, let's say, $3 million or a little bit less, and you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. You won't need to make any trades in the forward lines, and your midfield rookies are the ones that are going to be making a lot of money for you. So, yeah, I think this year as well, there definitely is a few gun forward rookies, but a lot of the guys in the top 10, or at least top 10 to top 15, aren't going to be selectable in our forward lines this year, according to a few different things. So I think just stack that midfield.
Absolutely.
He's a good player, man. He's a good player. There's a reason why a few of these clubs wanted to trade up and get him in. I think Carlton was a bit silly not to pick him up, to be honest. But yeah.
Hey, we like that. We like silly Carlton. I don't mind. I don't mind Carlton being silly.
Of course. I think a North Melbourne. If we didn't have Horn Francis fever and know that these players want to leave and go back home, we could have ended up picking up Draper as well. So, yeah.
Mate, Nate Caddy has been wonderful, but we don't pick forwards. And unfortunately, this year, our forward line is full. So don't worry about him. But just from a football perspective, Nate Caddy is going to be so exciting, man, honestly. Dylan Shield with the B team, yeah. He's been playing more with the half in defence, but there's no way he breaks into that back line. We have a pretty solid back line. Yeah, Darcy Parish has been awesome in the preseason, but, again, you're going to have to sort of weigh up. This is not a player that you want to trade in. If you want to go risky, this is a player that you start. I would have started him last year, but on the dawn of the season, he does a calf. So, Look, I'm probably not going to pick him. Elijah, he's not there just yet, I don't think either, so don't worry about him. Really, the ones from the Bombers that you care about are Nick Martin and Sadad Holder. They're the two people. And Zach Merritt, of course. But Zach Merritt is Zach Merritt. He's always there.
I mean, if you've got 4 midfielders who you want to lock in for the entire season, you're not going to pick Parish. I mean, you're not going to pick Parish. You're not going to pick Dylan Shield either.
No, definitely not. Saligo is one that we were talking about in the last stream. Appears more mature, looks fit, another level. Saligo looked like he was on the dawn of breaking out last year, but couldn't maintain it. So maybe this year, maybe it was 1 year too early. He sort of gave us a taste of what is to come. So keen to track Saligo for the rest of the preseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so as well. But then it comes down to, again, does it come down to if I've got 4 players? If I've got 4 players in Ashcroft, I don't think Saligo is going to be one of those. I'd rather pick Draper at a cheaper price and then probably end up with 150K. So, yeah.
We're going to put up the rookies, but still, we'll have a look. We'll have a say. But yeah, thank you, Nerds for Life, Supercoach. Really appreciate it. It's great to just open up your Twitter every now and then and just see a post, with training notes. It's so handy. We need to do that more often, I think. But we are YouTubers. This is where we belong. This is our domain. But we give shout outs to the people who actually do it. So Nerds for Life, much love. Whilst we're on Twitter, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've sort of chucked my name in the ring to potentially
go for it, Joe.
For the KO call up. So I don't know if I don't know how I'm supposed to show this here. How do I show it on this?
Just press your face on the side and it go to your page.
Oh, there we go. No, does it?
No, on the what is happening part at the top, in the middle, at the top, you should be able to press your face. Cool, and then it should go to your page. There you go.
Thank you. Not your face. There we go. So yes, I've put in an application. I've submitted a chance to possibly be a commentator for KO. If you guys want to give yourselves a chance, all you got to do is go to the KO Sports website on any social media platform that you want to apply. Record yourself, 15 to 30-second clip. Just make sure you tag KO, the KO call up, and then you got to do a 100-word write-up on their website. So I think registration's closed December 20th. So if you want to have a chance to potentially go into the running to be one of the Super Saturday KO commentators, that's what you got to do. A bit of fun just for the first 8 weeks of the season. And you could end up going to Gather Round if that's the, that's during the first 8 weeks. So here it is.
There you go.
There you go. So it could be really interesting.
I love the fact that the community as well. I mean, KO is not really an independent site and whatnot, but just the availability to kind of do this. There's definitely been a few content creators that have jumped on this as well. So yeah, it's just something cool.
There it is. Check it out if you want to have a crack at it. If you feel like you'd like to have some fun, I know I did. I did a volunteer little thing earlier on in the year and got a 15, 30-second clip of myself, and it was a bit of an anticlimax to the end of that clip. So. I'll just say
they're the best ones.
they're the best ones. Could she
Now, guys,
forward DPP throughout the season?
We're probably going to finish up at 9:30, so chuck all your questions in. This most likely might be the one, the last stream before Supercoach is open. That's my prediction. So we'll see kind of what happens with that at the moment. But yeah, will he get for? If he's defender, it's an interesting one. I feel like he's going to get midfield. I think
he'll get midfield for sure.
Or it's going to be one of those weird ones where it ends up with like 30, 30, 30 and then gets nothing. We'll see. I know there was a couple of players like that this year. Maybe was it Bont who ended up with like 30, like 60, 30 and then didn't have enough to get forward DPP last year. There were a couple of players, I think, that were like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show there that these will miss DPP status by just 0.2%. He spent it as a midfielder, and according to the track watching training report, he's been playing inside mid. So I think it's unlikely at this point that we're going to see a forward status Sheasel. And to be honest, I really don't want to see him with a forward status because our forward line is basically chock-a-block already with other premiums.
Yeah, DPP is nice, but like we don't need it.
No, we don't need it. Just going for Kelly Underwood's job.
As long as you know the name of the orange team, Joe, we're on to a winner.
Mate, can I call the Blues the blue team?
Hey, you're not wrong.
How has she not said that the Blues are the blue team? I don't get it. That actually works. Who's the breakout player next year, lads? Tom DeConning.
Is he breakout, though?
I mean, what was his price last year?
I mean, like, some people had him in their team, though. It's not like no one had... He's not a Tristan Cherry. Because no one had Cherry coming into 2024.
I would have, but...
But I mean, like, no one had Cherry pre-24. People had Tom DeConning in their team this year. Like, he was a viable selection. Breakout player, I would say someone like a Philippou. I think a few people, like, may jump on the train with that kind of thing. But you just don't know, right? All it takes is one person to get injured. And then it's like, cool, yep, new position comes in, that's it, done. So, yeah. We'll see. I think 2025, a lot of people are going to get sucked into your Kadeem Coleman type players. And it's just really something to be wary of. Mid prices aren't always the best selection, is something I'll say. And you're going to end up spending a lot of money and a lot of points having to get rid of them.
Marshall had a year 7 breakout, and guess which ruck is entering into year 7?
Which ruck?
I want to get?
It's not Sean Darcy, is it? No. Mate, we were talking off air. You don't even know if this guy's going to be the number 1 ruck anymore. So, I don't know, Joe.
Oh, jeez.
I do not know.
Nah, not him. Stop him.
Well, he's not in year 7. Go back. He's in the year 6.
Is he?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, good. Oof. Thankfully,
what
not
about Darcy? How many's Darcy in?
Oh, surely not Sean Darcy.
He's not fairly he's not old.
He's not old. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who is the ruckman entering year 7? Draper couldn't even beat Eddie. Draper's pathetic, bro. Draper's pathetic. Actually, I want to trade him out.
I reckon Draper would lose to Weddle as a relief ruckman. That's my prediction for this year. Draper versus Weddle and still loses.
Man, I want to trade Draper out to Adelaide ASAP. Lloyd Meeks only played for 4 years. Surely not English.
It's a bit crazy, right? we saw how expensive a Petty was to almost bring in a couple of years ago for a lot of clubs, and some clubs should have let him go. So, yeah, Draper might end up being another one of those type of players.
How many years has Tom Conning been in the system? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, there you go.
I think it's number 7, year 7 coming up.
There you go.
I don't think people started the year with Tom DeConning. People traded him in, I feel, when they saw that Pitane was out.
Maybe.
We go to his ruck contest. At the start of the season, what happened? 83, 75, 57. He wasn't really scoring great. He had the occasional spike game, but I think people traded him in roughly around round 11 or round 12 is when people started trading him in. And then he went on this ridiculous run where he just went berserk. And you can see it in the CBAs, jumped up from 22-17 to 83. So people then started to roll the dice on DeConning having predominant centre bounce attendances. And as soon as he did, then he went berserk.
Oh, of course.
You know, look at this. Then when he had the drop, 37%, he only had the score the 95.
Yep.
Got injured this game.
Was that when Pitnet came in?
Did Pitane play against the Dogs? Well, you would think so. I mean, why else would his centre bounce attendances drop so much?
Just looking out for hit outs. Yeah, Pitnet came back in. So Pitnet's kind of the killer for the Conning. So yeah, solo ruck. We'll see what happens. They've obviously kept Pitnet on, and they want him to play. So we'll see.
Care all about D, Ivan. Surely a grumpy old 60-year-old like me has a chance, right? You got a chance, Michael. You got to submit an application. Submit an application though, so you can do it. I believe in you. They don't give points for mullets. Yeah, true. I'm taking Caleb Daniel in the ruck before Draper.
There you go.
Draper's pathetic, man. He's actually so bad. I really wish St Kilda offered him that. I wish he took that St Kilda $1 million offer. Oh, jeez. Or the Wizard legend in the ruck.
Yeah. Who was it? Like Marlon Pickett jumped in and did rucking a little bit, didn't he? I wonder if there's a couple of other players like that who were just like, yep. Randomly, who was it? Machito Owens used to ruck. Always thought that was a bit of a weird one. Is there anyone else, Joe? Toby Pink. I remember Toby Pink, the ruckman. Got a couple of hit outs.
They sent Patrick Cripps into the ruck.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You know, they send English into the ruck, and he doesn't even know what a ruck is. Headless Chicken is no speaker to English. Matt Kennedy was in the ruck. Yeah, just some random ones. Riley Sanders is an interesting one. I don't know. I'd love to see this kid play. Mid-forward status. He hardly played at all last year. If we go back to the DFS.
Yeah, Riley Sanders is one of those ones. I think in any other year of Supercoach, cool, you might pick him up. But I think for next year, it's really going to be dominated by these top 10 picks. I can foresee it happening. Seidel Hawaii on the bench alongside a couple of others, and I don't think we're going to see. Well, maybe we'll see a few people picking a Sanders, but I don't think it's going to happen in Supercoach. It's going to be that weird, awkward, like $300K price mark for him. Similar to Saligo and a few others, I think, as well.
How many games did he play? Oh, he played 14 games.
Yeah, like he was an okay selection in Supercoach, at least for the start.
Sub.
Bevo's still got his job. He's going to play. He's going to play, but I don't think you pick him up at 250 to 300K. Like, you just don't.
Chad Warner playing for the Eagles in 2026?
We'll see. We'll see. It's going to come down to money more than anything else, and I don't think that Sydney lifestyle is really hard to leave. The only reason why you leave is for a Jordan Dawson or something where you're leaving. Sorry, you're leaving for opportunity. And I don't think Warner has that issue.
Jimmy Neutron. Look, he'll have an increased opportunity to be the man in the midfield because Harley Reid will be gone. So
got to trade him for something like three-way trade, huh? Essendon, Eagles, and Sydney.
Mate, we're gonna get Harley Reid, baby. We're gonna offer up. We're gonna go Gold Coast. You've got some top talents in your academy. We've got some second round selections. Split your pick, mate. Don't worry, we'll take that high draft pick from you. We will trade 3 first rounders to the Eagles for Harley Reid. That is a very fair trade, in my opinion. Would you not take that, Michael? 3 first rounders for Harley Reid?
There you go. We'll see. See what happens.
Surely you would. Plus, you're going to really want those picks.
We need Shannon Humphreys to make an appearance, and then we'll be right.
Reid going nowhere. Mate, if we're offering 3 first-round picks, you got to entertain that. How can you not entertain 3 first-round picks with Tassie coming around the corner? You're going to need to expedite that rebuild, Michael. Come on.
Yep.
You got to say yes to 3 first-rounders. You got to. In the same draft, not even future. It's 3 in the same one. That's just top-notch trading there, in my opinion. I think that's very fair. 3 first-rounders. Why would Reid go to a combat as one has won a final in 20 years? So that we can win a final after 20 years. That's the point. That's the point, Michael. It's about being part of that drought-breaking team, going down in history, and being a franchise player. Reid not worth 1, let alone 3. That's why Essendon are where they are.
Yeah.
What?
Reid's very good.
No.
Yeah, Harley Reid's worth it, man. Harley Reid's worth it. There you go. Good old Rodney. Always has the jokes.
Exactly. Oh. There you go. They get Tim Kelly. They get Tim Kelly's 3 picks back. I think he's worth it. I think Harley Reid is worth it. He's a midfielder that Essendon doesn't have. He's a line breaker. It's the scoreboard. You just say never going to happen, but like. Did you come back from the future? Like never is a pretty strong word. Never gonna happen. Like that means impossible. And impossible is obviously not the case here.
Yeah.
We got the money. We got money too, bro. Are you kidding me?
Hey,
like,
half the AFL got money these days, and salary cap's going up even further too. So yeah, you don't need to be worried about that.
We didn't sign. We did it. All of our free agents last year were on front-ended deals, and we didn't sign up anyone new this year. So we're gonna have. Plus, Goldstein will have retired, so that's more money. We're not paying him the world, but still, that's another person retired. Laverde will be gone. That's another person.
Sam Draper, Draper's probably gone as well, depending on what happens.
Draper to Adelaide, correct. Adelaide want to trade 2 first-round picks for Petty. Reid will come back to Victoria. Yeah, I think so. Joe, you don't need Reid. You got the next bond in your team.
Who's the next?
We don't need Reid. We have the next Bont in our team.
Is that Caddy or is that someone else?
No. Really? Tell me, Shaq. It's not. You can't be kidding me. Carlton got the paper bags. Goldstein will free up $3. Yeah, he'll free up $3.
$3.
Like literally $3.
You know, it'll be like his soft drink from the vending machine every couple of days. That's what it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But bro, we've got money, Michael. Don't worry. We've got money. We're also a big club. Like I said, all front-ended deals. We're setting up to get Harley Reid. Now, I'm interested to know who is Bontempelli for Essendon. Like, I don't get this one at all, Shaq. It's over my head. Dylan Shield will also be gone. Correct. Exactly, Ghost. We're gonna have so much money we won't know what to do with it. Like Harley Reid will be showering in money.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And that's why the Eagles are so hard pressed to push up higher up the ladder as quick as they can, because unlike in North Melbourne, the draw home to Victoria is real. So if they have a couple of crappy seasons, man, Harley Reid's going to be like, cool, it was fun. Top 10 play, top 10 team is wanting to get me across the line, and see you later, really.
Bro, Sam Durham. Look,
I
love Sam Durham. Bro, have you seen the photo of Sam Durham? Bro, you can literally grate cheese on his abs. It's ridiculous. I don't know if it will pop up here. Sam Durham.
I saw some Caldwell pictures, but no, I haven't seen Sam Durham this year.
Bro, Sam Durham, I don't know if
there's. No, they are not the same height. Bont and Sam Durham are not close to the same.
And that's the difference. They're not the same height. Like, Bontempelli is an anomaly. Plus, Sam Durham has got a very high-profile girlfriend as well. So Sam Durham is winning on and off the field, mate. Get around him. So
there you go.
He's doing very well for himself.
He was your mid-season draftee, right? I think. North Melbourne's one of those teams that just don't seem to pick good mid-season draftees, unfortunately. So yeah, very, very good selection there.
Right now, I got to show you Sam Durham. I have to show you Sam Durham. There's literally a photo of him. It's ridiculous. Where is it? It's got to be close. It's got to be nearby. I saw it and I'm just like, shish kebabs. This is ridiculous. Maybe latest. The latest. Oh, geez, all these people are talking about Sam Durham. I want to see his photo. There is a photo of him. The pit is off Discord. Oh, all right. We'll pull it up on the Discord. Then I'll see if I can pull it up on the Discord.
No, we're not going too crazy. Boys, you are the king. Hey, it's preseason before Supercoach opens. I don't think there's much else to do, to be honest. So yeah, we'll take it as it comes. I think there's going to be a few big movers in the AFL, and I love the fact that because the salary cap's going up, it's going to allow clubs to offer a lot more to some players, which means that, hey, we're going to be able to get a few more big trades coming through. So, yeah, we'll see. Michael here, 24 under 22, new coach, new era, whoosher back. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But you guys need to do a lot better. You need to be able to show, hey, it's actually worth for you to stay here outside of Hungry Jack's sponsorships,
Look, I'm not going to say that the Eagles, I'm not saying that he's going to leave the Eagles because the Eagles are shit. Like, I'm not saying, right? I'm just saying that he's a Victorian and we're going to offer a lot to get him in.
Everyone's going to offer a lot, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are going to be offering, and it will turn into an absolute bidding war to get Reid across the line. And it's all going to come down to which club can, satisfy the Eagles the most. And so it's just going to be a bidding war. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the Eagles ultimately who are going to win, because they're turning one pick into multiple, 3 or 4. So look, it's possible. You can't say it's impossible. You can make your case for why you think you'll stay, and that's perfectly acceptable. But there is also a case for him leaving as well. Obviously, only time will tell whether he stays or whether he goes.
Yeah. We've seen the hype so far about LDU who hasn't re-signed yet. If Harley Reid goes into year 3 and hasn't re-signed yet, Joe, holy moly, brother! Every second game is going to be talking about Harley Reid. Is he staying? Is he going? Every article in the WA newspapers is going to be the same thing. I can almost guarantee you there'll be something every week. Harley Reid's going to stay. Harley Reid's not going to stay. What does he need to stay? Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's both. There's an option on both sides there. Heard from a very good source. Reid is going to Essendon, and I'm a North supporter, says B. James.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You just made Joe's day here.
Look, there's obviously a lot of time. There's obviously a lot of time between now and when that happens. The Eagles are going to do their best to show that they have, and it's going to be a lot on the Bombers. Like the Bombers have to show that they are capable of getting this rebuild, underway really quick and not take too long to, and dilly-dally. They have to show Harley Reid that there is an opportunity for growth and that we are not far away from success. If he just joins, he can be the finishing touch. And it is a young team, but, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Chad Warner having coffees with Cripper on Lygon Street. Holy crap. All right. But,
it's the preseason in the AFL, man.
Exactly. It's Cripper.
Like players meet with other players. It happens.
Brett. Cripper is a very famous, well-known, likable guy. He's also just won the Brownlow. It wouldn't be a surprise for people to maybe reach out to him and ask, what did you do during the year? Like, how'd you prepare over the off season? And he seems to be a really cool kind of guy who'd be more than happy to tell people what he did. I don't think he's going to be a shut up and not tell people. No, I can't find the photo. Sorry, guys, I can't find the photo. So, yeah. So I'm not sure how much you can read into that one. Laverty next spot. Yeah, right. Laverty's gone, bro. End of the season. All right. It's past.
This is Big J's face when it's like nonsense. Guys, it's been amazing. Thank you very much. Supercoach is starting up again. I know a lot of you guys are very, very, very excited, and we are too, Joe.
Yes. Harley Reid coming to Essendon is something that will cause a lot of excitement. Yes. I'm kidding. You'll probably open either on Friday or next week. Get around us. Get excited. We'll start to see this. We'll start to see the prices. We'll start to be able to create some mock teams. We'll soon be getting to a point in time where we can genuinely assess whether players are worth it or not. We'll be able to review your teams in the coming days as well. So get excited.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I mean, we've spoken a little bit about what type of forward line we're looking at. Mate, that's half the decision done because you know what other players you're locking in, and then the rest of them are all defenders. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. More options are always better, and everyone's going to play something a bit different. So, stay tuned.
Absolutely. How many wins for North Melbourne this year?
Hopefully 7+. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable. Night, B. James. Night, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your Christmas if you celebrate it. Enjoy the holiday period. Enjoy the new year. We'll be pumping out some more recorded content in the coming weeks when it does open, and we'll do some more research to give you actual videos as opposed to just live streams. Live streams will happen, of course, in the new year. So make sure you enjoy your time with your friends and family.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we should be back next week, so we'll see. If Supercoach is open, we'll make it happen. All right, guys, catch you in the next one, because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work, so you guys don't have to. Enjoy your Monday.
Feliz Navidad.